Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are. For me, this is a perfect time. It's in the morning, but yeah, I think all of our friends in the US are sleeping right now. But I'm sure they'll rewatch my session. So hello. So a little bit about me. I always have a little love-hate relationship with kind of like these slides. It's not about me, right? It's about the amazing content, but I love to give a little bit of context. My name is Gerald, and I work at Microsoft on the .NET MAUI team. And as a side project, we have many as developers. I also work on the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit, which is the thing that I'm going to tell you all about. If you have any questions, I'm active on Twitter. I don't have the blue check mark yet. Maybe, who knows? But it's really me. Just check the handle. Otherwise, you can find me at this email address. And if you're watching this from YouTube, I also do videos on YouTube about the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit, .NET MAUI in general, some more .NET stuff. So if that's something that you're interested in, please check that out. Special shout out to all the YouTube subscribers that are watching right now. Thank you, guys. So the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit, what's that all about? What even is this project? Well, there is a bit of history here with Xamarin Forms, right? Probably if you've been interested in .NET MAUI, you know a little bit about the history, right? So it all comes from Xamarin Forms. That is what we've been doing like for 6, 7, 8 years now, which is our solution for cross-platform development based on C# and .NET, right? So that now evolved into .NET MAUI and is a first-class citizen of the .NET framework. And now with a incredible new feature that is part of .NET 7. So that's really amazing. Now we started the Xamarin Forms. Well, it was named the Xamarin Community Toolkit, but it was targeted towards Xamarin Forms. And we did a whole bunch of things. So you probably know, if you've been developing with Xamarin Forms and now .NET MAUI, that you probably have a lot of converters, right, that you need for XAML, and you keep writing those converters over and over again, right? So you write that converter in one project, and it's too small to wrap into its own NuGet package. So you're just going to copy over that code, and then you're going to change it here a little bit. And then for the next project, you're doing that again, and suddenly you have 3, 4 versions of that same converter, right? So what we try to do is get all those converters into one package, and so that everyone basically can benefit, everyone can see them. Just install a community toolkit and you will have all that shared goodness. Same thing with behaviors. We have some animations pre-built for you right out of the box. But what is even cooler is that we also are kind of like an incubator, if you will, for new controls and new features. So also here, a little bit of history with Xamarin Forms. Xamarin Forms had a couple of controls that were under a experimental flag. But then .NET MAUI came in the picture, right? So suddenly we had a couple of controls that would stay experimental forever, right? These controls, we were not really sure about them. And now they had to stay inside of like Xamarin Forms, because that was, Xamarin Forms is the last version. We're still maintaining it until May 2024, so don't worry about that. But we're not adding new features, right? We're not doing big major development features on that. So we suddenly had a couple of controls, and we still wanted to empower our users and not take those controls away for the people who are already using it, right? So we put those in the Xamarin Forms Community Toolkit as well, and suddenly, everyone was happy. We had this great community package, and we were not taking away anything from our users. So that's really amazing. And it is a project for you and by you, right? It says it in the name, Community Toolkit. So we have a team of core maintainers. Absolutely, I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But feel free to join in, open PRs, open feature requests, do all the things, fix those bugs. It's an open source project. You can join in. We have like all the things of a real project. So we have a monthly stand-up live stream every first Thursday of the month. The link will be a little bit later in the slides. So you can join that just like this on YouTube. And you can ask questions. You can see we're actually discussing features like voting. Should something go in? Should something not go in? What are our considerations? So if you consider like going into this project or any open source project, basically, you can kind of see see how it works on the inside. So that's really cool. We try to do everything in the open. For all of our features, we also have official docs on the official Microsoft Docs website. Although this project is not officially Microsoft, it's very close. I'm on the .NET MAUI team. We have Kim Philpotts, he's also working at Microsoft, and then a couple of members from the community. So we have close ties, but it's kind of like in the gray area, if you will. You might also know the Windows Community Toolkit, right? That has been around for a little bit longer, and they're kind of like doing the same thing, but that's very specific to Windows development. So we took our inspiration from that and created our own project. But now we had the unique opportunity to go from the Xamarin Community Toolkit to the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit and unify our efforts a little bit more. So we created a GitHub organization. So we are now under github.com/community toolkit. And now we have Community Toolkit with the Windows Community Toolkit, the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. You might know it from the MVVM Toolkit, which is pretty amazing. And who knows what happens in the future, right? We might also have a Blazor Toolkit, something. So that is all stuff that we've been doing so far. And like I said, a big shout out from this place to all the maintainers, all the contributors right here. So basically the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up till me, that's kind of like the core maintainers. We're missing someone. I think we're missing Kim Philpotts that I mentioned. He's like, I can do it with a mouse. He's right here. And we now have also someone on board from the Tizen team, so that we have like Tizen full support. That's really great as well. But this is all of our contributors who have been with us and contributing to our little project over the past year. So thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate all of this. So then, talk a little bit about the specifics. What are the versions that we have right now? Because this week with .NET Conf and .NET MAUI and .NET 7, we've been very busy catching up with all the things. So .NET MAUI Community Toolkit, I already mentioned, it's a collection of reusable elements for application development with .NET MAUI. We've released version 1.4, 2.0, and 3.0 all in a couple of days. So how does that work? That's a bit much, right? Again, we try to do this and serve as many people as we can. So what we try to do is in version 1.4.0, we brought a couple of new big features. We've brought, I need to look at my notes here, the state container, the expander, and the doc layout. Those were all controls that were in the Xamarin Community Toolkit, but not yet in the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. I think 2 of those are done, ported by the community. Really great stuff. So we put that in 1.4.0 so that people still on .NET 6 can have those big new features, right? So that's really cool. You can use that if that's what you want. Then version 2, the Tizen team has been very busy to catch up, implement all the things that we had up till now, including the things that I just mentioned, and added Tizen support for that, because Tizen is also a platform that's supported for .NET MAUI. So, they also took it upon themselves to implement all that stuff for the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. And we've merged that. We decided to separate that from the 1.4.0 version because we needed to up our dependency a little bit from the .NET 6. It's still .NET 6, but a slightly higher version. And, some people might not like the new dependency, although it really doesn't work that way on Tizen and whatnot. So we separated that out, made that version 2.0, and then we have version 3. And version 3 has all the stuff that I mentioned before, Tizen support, those 3 big new features, all the bug fixes that went in there. But now it runs on .NET 7, which was released the day before yesterday. So that's really crazy. Within 24 hours, we had .NET 7 support, and we have all this good stuff. And what I didn't really mention, which kind of like shines through with what I said, right? This is a project, it's very much related to .NET MAUI, very much related to Microsoft, but we're all working on this in our free time. So, from now, if you're going to work with this, version 3 is going to be the version that is going to see all the development, right? So that's probably where the bug fixes are going to go, and that's definitely where all the new features are going to go. More on that later. We also have C# markup. That's also part of the Community Toolkit for a more fluent UI syntax, right? So you can do your UIs in XAML if that's what you want. You can write your UI in C# if that's what you want with .NET MAUI, but the default C# syntax is really created for writing beautiful UIs, or you can write beautiful UIs, it just takes a lot of code. So what we're doing with the C# markup extensions is provide a beautiful fluent syntax for that. So again, more on that later. Down below, the GitHub repository, so github.com/community toolkit/MAUI, that is where you can find all of this goodness and come help out. So then we also have the Xamarin Community Toolkit. That's still our latest release for that has been a while ago. Again, our time is limited, and this is the exact same thing. Has even more right now than the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. There's a couple of things that we still need to port over. The latest release is version 2.0.5. So if you're still on Xamarin, I already mentioned it's still supported until May 2024. So you have all the time to transition to .NET MAUI. But we have you covered. You have this toolkit as well with all the good stuff in there. Also, C# markup also available for that version. So what's inside of it? Well, this is not even everything, but it's already a lot of what we have inside of here. So we have the alerts. We have a snack bar and a toast, which is like the little pop-up messages that come from the bottom, right? And you can anchor them to all kinds of controls. So we have those alerts. We have all kinds of behaviors, which is very much a .NET MAUI thing, where you can influence the behavior of certain elements. So we'll see that in a little bit. The one that is kind of like my favorite is the one at the bottom, which is not etc. That's also a favorite because there's lots more. But it's the user stop typing behavior. So that makes it really easy to kind of like, what is it, the debounce? I think that's the correct term. So when someone is typing and stops typing, you can detect that kind of gesture and then execute an action when that happens. So you don't have to implement that logic over and over again, which I definitely did for a couple of search bars, right? So that's something inside of the box. You can just install this plugin and you have that ready for you to go. A lot of converters, like if you've been working with XAML, converters are life. So, we have a big set of pre-built converters for you that you can just plug in and use. That's really amazing. A whole set of extension methods that you can use for all kinds of things. But the thing that's most appealing to most users is the views and the layouts, right? So we have an avatar view, so the little round thingies usually with the initials in it, if you will, if you don't set an avatar or the picture. We have all that. A drawing view, so you can actually draw, you can use signatures, you can create a drawing game if that's what you want. You can just draw lines with your finger, with the mouse button, doesn't really matter. You can do all of that. Pop-ups. Pop-ups is also always a big thing, right? We hate them on the web with all the pop-ups, but we love them to implement ourselves in our apps, right? So love-hate relationship, but pop-ups, we got you covered. You can definitely do that. A state layout, uniform items layout, all things. So what is that C# markup thing? I already mentioned, like if you're going to do it in like regular C#, you're going to do new stack layout is, well, stack layout is new stack layout, label is new label, stack layout.children is label, blah, 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 blah. Takes up a lot of code, right? We don't want to do that. So these C# markup extensions will make a little bit more fluent syntax to do all that. But now, more fluently, more beautiful, takes less code. There is, I should have put a slide in that. You have Git trends. So Git as in GitHub, Git trends made by Brandon Minnick, who is part of our core team. He has created a full app in the stores that you can use to show your repository stats. And it's completely written with the C# markup extension. So a question that I get with all the technology, is it ready for production use? Absolutely is running in production. Go check it out. The app is open source too, so you can see all the things there. Demo time. So let's do a little bit of a demo here, and I'm going to switch over magically to Windows. Boom. That's the magic of my machine, basically my setup, my complicated setup. So here I just pulled open the repository for a little bit, so you can see the GitHub repository, and everything is here, right? So what I specifically want to point out is a couple of things. We have this big project board right here, which is basically what we base all of our things on. And you can see here that we have, a proposal submitted, right? So we have kind of like a strict procedure for actually letting things in, which can be kind of daunting if you want to get started on it, but it's not without reason, right? This way we ensure that we get like good quality proposals that are ready to be worked on, and not a lot of small paper cut features. So this really makes you think a little bit. It can be daunting the first time that you do it, but I promise you it's not as scary as it looks. If you need help, reach out to me. I'll help you, absolutely. So here you can see kind of like what we're working on, what is approved. The documentation is a part of, needs to be finished whenever we get a feature done. And here we have the completed thing. So that's the thing that we try to do. And then down here, we have like a little sample. We have a schematic on how to add that new feature, right? So this is like your kind of overview with a little bit more text down below. And here, of course, this is all the things, right? So we have the source code, we have a little sample app. That's what I'm going to show you today. And that's kind of like the important things here. So that's where you can find all the stuff. Actually, let me see if I can go right here. So like I said, we also have the docs, right? So we have docs for everything because it's part of our procedure. So we have the C# markup stuff. We have everything for the views right here. You can click into it and we have like a little sample for all concept scenarios. Typically we have a couple of screenshots. So everything very complete. Right, so you're here for some code, right? Who needs these slides and these websites? Ugh. So what I did, I pulled down that repository, opened it here in Visual Studio 2022, and I opened the sample app, right? So the way this is set up, the sample app does not reference the NuGet packages that we, of course, release. You can just, right-click here on your project, do manage NuGet packages. Imagine that this project is your .NET MAUI app. You can do browse, and you can go to community toolkit .maui, right? So you can just search for that. You can install it on your project and do one line of initialization and boom, there you got it, right? But this is not referencing that because we have the source in the same repository. So what we did is we referenced the code, the source code from right here, which also makes it very easy to develop, right? So you can just start working here in the Community Toolkit source and start using it directly inside of this sample app, which is in fact a .NET MAUI app. And now you can easily debug through the code, right? The boundary between like the NuGet and the other source is completely gone, so that makes it very easy to develop. So the Community Toolkit MAUI, that's basically where the majority of our stuff lives. You can see the views, the drawing view, all of that code with handlers and mappers and all the thing that Louise just told me in the session before me, which she did great. So that's all that. But what I want to focus on is the sample. And like I said, this is just a .NET MAUI app. So we did everything with MVVM. So we have view models, we have views, we have pages, all that kind of stuff. We are using Shell. But if you go to pages, it's basically probably what you find most important if you want to know how to use all of the features inside of the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. And we've divided it up in all the categories, right? So the behaviors, the converters, and we try to have a demo, a sample, just as our documentation for all the features that we have. So if I go here into converters, then we have a big list of converters, right? And you can see example pages. So if I go into, again, let's go to my favorite one, like the user stop typing behavior. Is that exactly one that we don't have a sample for? Oh my gosh, I'm going to fix that right after this session. So let's do another one. I don't know which is interesting. So a math expression one, that's cool, right? We have a little math expression one where you can add your math expression inside of your XAML. So right here is a example span text, and we do data binding, right? And we say like, hey, this converter, we do x divided by 2 or x times 5, and because it goes through this math expression converter that we provide for you, you can automatically do that. So you can do these expressions like that. This is pretty specific. Maybe something that is more generic that you like to use as well is the command, the event to command. We don't have one for that as well. Oh my gosh, we should get working on a couple of examples here. Okay. Let's quickly move on to the next one. So we have a couple of layouts, and like I said, we have the views, right? So I'm working on the maps. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that later. But if we focus on this drawing view, for example, we just have these pages in here so that you can run this app. And you can actually see how it behaves, right? So you can see how it behaves when a user would use it. And B, we have like everything here in XAML so that you can see how to implement it in code, right? How would you typically use this? That's kind of like this, the advantage of doing it like this. So we have a bunch of layouts right here, and we have this drawing view. So you can see we have a line color, a line width. You can set the lines or get the lines, and you have events for whenever a line has completed drawing. So you have all these options. We can set the background to like a gradient, so that's all in there. This is a very complete example that you could basically, That's how I typically learn. Copy this from a sample app, paste it inside of my own app, and then I start tinkering with it, like to customize it to my needs, right? And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. So if we run this, let's start with Android. I already got it loaded up here. We're working on making the sample app a little bit more beautiful and appealing as well, but right now it's very functional. So keep that in mind. We have this sample app. Welcome to the Community Toolkit, and we have this flyout menu, right? So here again, you're going to see all the different categories here. So let's start with the alerts, actually. So that's the snack bar that I mentioned earlier, right? So we have the snack bar, display default snack bar, and here at the bottom, I'm not covering it up, right? Here at the bottom, you can see that little snack bar coming up, and it disappears automatically after 3 seconds. That's kind of like the character of a snack bar, right? So you can also do it here on top of this button, so you can anchor it to a couple of buttons, and you can do it inside of a modal page as well. So, we have all these options here. The toast, kind of like the same thing, but I think the difference between a toast and a snack bar is that it doesn't have a button to actually test something. So a toast is more like informational, and a snack bar has a actual button that you can do something with. Big, customization options. You can customize the whole things, which is really cool. What else do we have? So the views, like I said, that's usually something that speaks most to your imagination. So we have this avatar view, right? So let's see. Avatar view images page. So we have, an avatar with an avatar in there. Mind blowing, right? So you can use this, and I think we also have whatever you don't see the actual image, you can put the initials in there. You can put some text in there. You can see it here demonstrated with days of weeks, and again here you can see you can also do the rounded corners and not the full circle, right? So yeah, you can do all these styling options. What else do we got? So I'm working on the Windows maps. Well, let's go through the drawing view first, sorry. So here you can see the exact thing that I was showing here in example right here behind it, right? So you can see this drawing view, and I can start drawing here, and I can influence the options right here. So I can set multi-line mode, right? So I can draw multiple lines here. It doesn't clear out whenever I draw one. I can set the clear on finish so that actually, we can do this and then it captures it and goes away. Down here, you can see the generated image from whatever I'm drawing here. You can put lines in here programmatically, right? So here you can see that. You can just do random lines in here, which is pretty cool. You can clear them all. Lots and lots of options. Same thing, if I boot this up on Windows, you can see the exact same application, because that's the power of .NET MAUI. And we have the same, setup, flyout menu, go to views. And what we're working on is the Windows maps. So with .NET 7, with .NET MAUI, we released the .NET MAUI maps. But the interesting problem we have here is that iOS and macOS have maps, Android have maps, but Windows doesn't have a map control. And we translate everything to whatever lives on that platform, right? So for Windows, we tried to have to come up with something. And this is our implementation with a web view and Bing Maps. So again, like the synergy with the .NET MAUI team, that we still provide a maps implementation for Windows, which is, maybe not perfect, but at least until Windows is going to implement a map control, we can provide you with something, right? So that's kind of like the cool thing that we're trying to do here. I'm zoomed in on Luxembourg. I can scroll a little bit down to Switzerland. I saw my friend Claudio in the chat right here. So I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not good at geography. So that's kind of like how you can get started and some of the features of the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. Now I got a couple more slides for you. I'm watching the chat. I don't think I have time to get to questions right here, but I'll be hanging out in chat right after the session. So if you have any questions, stick around. I'll answer them for you. What is coming? So I already talked about the maps, right? So the Windows maps, the story for that. The media element is a big one that everyone is waiting for as well. Let me know in the chat, are you waiting for the media element? The media element allows you to place videos and also audio, but videos is going to be the main thing, I think, inside of your .NET MAUI application. It is something we had in Xamarin Forms originally, but we never got it into a state where it was very stable. Then we moved it to the Xamarin Community Toolkit, where, it was great, it was working, but again, stability and especially Android, on Android things can be pretty hard, and the implementation for Android, we're now basing that on a different Android technique, the Exo player, which enables us to do a lot of more stuff. So that is definitely coming. I'm working hard on that to, get the basics ready and for you to be able to use that. There is a PR open for it right now. So if you are feeling adventurous, if you're brave enough, you can grab the nuggets from that PR and you can already start using it, poking it a little bit, and everything that we uncover now will help us make it more stable and for you to actually use whenever it comes out, right? The semantic order view, which is a important thing for accessibility, we're working hard on that to port that from the Xamarin Community Toolkit to the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit as well. That basically allows you to, define the semantic order of the elements inside of it. Because if you're using a screen reader, you can have all these fancy graphics, but the order to go through those graphics with a screen reader probably doesn't make sense. So you can define a separate order for whenever someone who needs it to go through the actual elements here. Lazy view, which allows you to basically lazily load any view inside of your .NET MAUI application. So you can cut down that startup time of your application or whatever you want to do. So that's something I think a lot of people are waiting for as well. We're actively working on that to making that happen as well. And see all the link down there. That's the project board that I showed you a little bit earlier, where you can follow our progress and what's going on here. So get involved. It's the community toolkit, right? I already said it. The monthly stand-up every first Thursday of the month. It's for an hour long. It's on the .NET Foundation channel on YouTube. The .NET MAUI team does their .NET MAUI community stand-up like 2 hours before us, I think. So if you're sticking around for that, you have an hour to recover from that, because usually it's very intense with David and Maddie, which is a good thing, right? They're doing a great job, but it's a lot of information always to take in. And then you have a little hour to recover, and then it's us talking about the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit. And we're open for contributions. So go to aka.ms/MAUI Toolkit, which is our short link for all of this. You will go to the repository. Note that champion workflow that I've been telling you about, and you should be all good. So I think I'm even a little bit early now. Thank you so much all for joining, and let's go build amazing apps with .NET 7, .NET MAUI, and the .NET MAUI Community Toolkit.
It's thank you very much, Gerald. That's really good. It's great to see the community momentum behind .NET MAUI and the community toolkits. That's some really good stuff. I love the sample application there. It's a great way of showing everything.
Thank you.
Is there do you have one of the things that I think people feel a little bit intimidated about in contributing is like knowing where to get started, because it's like, doing a whole feature. Do you have a tag or anything that people can go look at in the GitHub that says, oh, this is just a small bug or something I could do really quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's also one thing that we try to do, right? Like welcome people, especially I hear a lot of people also like, how do I contribute to .NET MAUI, right? And that's like a big complex product. And this is starting to become there, is starting to go there, but this is, right now it's compact, it's kind of more clear. So we definitely welcome you. If you want to go to contributing to .NET MAUI in the end, start here.
That's a good point.
We're not just saying that because we get the benefits, but start here. It's a lot less. We have more bandwidth to also help you out, to guide you. And yes, we try to whenever we have smaller issues, of course we also have a list of issues. We have like the help wanted, right? So that's excellent. A good place to start for whatever you want to do, so you at least know that help is appreciated. And then we probably also have like the kind of like well-known GitHub issues, like Good First issue or whatever. But if there's not one right now that's labeled like that, again, please reach out. We're all very approachable. We have a Discord channel on the .NET Discord thing, awesome. And so you can reach out, and we'll be happy to help you.
Great, excellent. So let's see. I think maybe have one time for a question from the chat here. This is a fairly wide scope of question. It is, what's the difference? What are the relationships between C# markup, MAUI graphics, and comment? And then also added in there is the model view update, MVU.
All right, yeah, so that's a lot of terms. I think the graphics don't really have anything to do with it. That's like the difference between what .NET MAUI is doing, translating all the abstract controls to the platform implementations, and graphics is like, well, Technically, I think I'm trying to assume what this person is meaning here. So sorry for if I'm understanding you wrong. But with graphics, you can like draw your own controls, right? So that's more like what other products are doing. So that's the difference between those. C# markup and MVU/Comet. That's also MVU and Comet are kind of like the same thing.
Right.
Comet also provides a code syntax for writing your UI. With that, it kind of like throws MVVM overboard, right? And that's the MVU part of it. So it also actually builds up the UI differently. But the biggest difference that you're going to see is like writing a different C# syntax. The C# markup extensions allow you to do that. Right now, it's out there. It uses everything that's inside .NET MAUI today. Comet at this time is experimental. I think we're definitely, going to see some exciting new things there, but it's at this time experimental, and it needs some implementation for the things. So not everything inside of .NET MAUI is in Comet right now. That's kind of like really short what kind of like the difference and how that all ties together.
Awesome. Sounds good. And I know you said you're going to answer some of the questions on chat
Yes.
as well.